To sing a song that old was sung, from ashes ancient Gower is come, assuming man's infirmities, to glad your ear and please your eyes. It hath been sung at festivals, on ember eves and holy days, and lords and ladies in their lives have read it for restoratives. The purchase is to make men glorious, et bonum quo Antiochus eo melius. If you, born in these latter times, when wit's more ripe, accept my rhymes, and that to hear an old man sing may to your wishes pleasure bring, I life would wish, and that I might waste it for you like taper light. This Antioch, then. Antiochus the Great built up this city for his chiefest seat, the fairest in all Syria. I tell you what mine authors say. This king unto him took a peer, who died, and left a female heir, so buxom, blithe, and full of face, as heaven had lent her all his grace, with whom the father liking took, and her to incest did provoke. Bad child, worse father, to entice his own, to evil should be done by none. But custom, what they did begin, was with long use account no sin. The beauty of this sinful dame made many princes thither frame, to seek her as a bedfellow, in marriage pleasures, playfellow, which to prevent he made a law, to keep her still, and men in awe, that whoso asked her for his wife, his riddle told not, lost his life. So for her many a wight did die, as yon grim looks do testify. What now ensues, to the judgment of your eye, I give my cause, who best can justify.
Young Prince of Tyre, you have at large received the danger of the task you undertake.
I have, Antiochus, and with a soul emboldened with the glory of her praise, think death no hazard in this enterprise.
Bring in our daughter, clothed like a bride for embracements even of Jove himself, at whose conception till Lucina reigned, nature this dowry gave. To glad her presence, the senate house of planets all did sit, to knit in her their best perfections.
See where she comes, apparelled like the spring, graces her subjects, and her thoughts the king of every virtue gives renown to men. Her face the book of praises, where is read nothing but curious pleasures, as from thence sorrow were ever raised, and testy wrath could never be her mild companion. You gods that made me man, and sway in love, that have inflamed desire in my breast, to taste the fruit of yon celestial tree, or die in the adventure, be my helps, as I am son and servant to your will, to compass such a boundless happiness.
Prince Pericles,
That would be son to great Antiochus.
before thee stands this fair Hesperides, with golden fruit, but dangerous to be touched, for death-like dragons here affright thee hard. Her face like heaven enticeth thee to view her countless glory, which desert must gain, and which without desert, because thine eye presumes to reach, all the whole heap must die. Yon sometimes famous princess, like thyself, drawn by report, adventurous by desire, tell thee with speechless tongues and semblance pale, that without covering, save yon field of stars, here they stand martyrs slain in Cupid's wars, and with dead cheeks advise thee to desist from going on death's net, whom none resist.
Antiochus, I thank thee, who hath taught my frail mortality to know itself, and by those fearful objects to prepare this body like to them to what I must. For death remembered should be like a mirror, who tells us life's but breath, to trust it error. I'll make my will then, and as sick men do, who know the world, see heaven, but feeling woe, gripe not at earthly joys as erst they did. So I bequeath a happy peace to you, and all good men, as every prince should do, my riches to the earth from whence they came, but my unspotted fire of love to you. Thus ready for the way of life or death, I wait the sharpest blow, Antiochus.
Scorning advice, read the conclusion then, which read and not expounded, 'tis decreed as these before thee, thou thyself shalt bleed.
Of all essayed yet, mayst thou prove prosperous. Of all essayed yet, I wish thee happiness.
Like a bold champion, I assume the lists, nor ask advice of any other thought, but faithfulness and courage. The riddle. I am no viper, yet I feed on mother's flesh, which did me breed. I sought a husband, in which labor I found that kindness in a father. He's father, son, and husband mild, I, mother, wife, and yet his child. How they may live, and yet in two, as you will live, resolve it you. Sharp physic is the last. But oh, you powers that give heaven countless eyes to view men's acts, why cloud they not their sights perpetually, if this be true which makes me pale to read it? Fair glass of light, I loved you, and could still, were not this glorious casket stored with ill. But I must tell you now my thoughts revolt, for he's no man on whom perfections wait, that knowing sin within will touch the gate. You are a fair viol, and your sense the strings, who fingered to make man his lawful music, would draw heaven down and all the gods to hearken. But being played upon before your time, hell only danceth at so harsh a chime. Good sooth, I care not for you.
Prince Pericles, touch not upon thy life, for that's an article within our law as dangerous as the rest. Your time's expired. Either expound now, or receive your sentence.
Great king, few love to hear the sins they love to act. 'Twould braid yourself too near for me to tell it. Who has a book of all that monarchs do, he's more secure to keep it shut than shown. For vice repeated is like the wandering wind, blows dust in others' eyes to spread itself. And yet the end of all is bought thus dear. The breath is gone, and the sore eyes see clear. To stop the air would hurt them. The blind mole casts cocked hills toward heaven, to tell the earth is thronged by man's oppression, and the poor worm doth die for it. Kings are earth's gods. In vice their laws their will, and if Jove stray, who dares say Jove doth ill? It is enough you know, and it is fit, what being more known grows worse to smother it. All love the womb which their first being bred, then give my tongue like leave to love my head.
Heaven that I had thy head, he has found the meaning, but I will glose with him. Young Prince of Tyre, though by the tenor of our strict edict your exposition misinterpreting, we might proceed to cancel of your days, yet hope, succeeding from so fair a tree as your fair self, doth tune us otherwise. 40 days longer we do respite you, if by which time our secret be undone, this mercy shows we'll joy in such a son. And until then, your entertain shall be as doth befit our honour and your worth.
How courtesy would seem to cover sin when what is done is like an hypocrite, the which is good in nothing but in sight. If it be true that I interpret false, then were it certain you were not so bad as with foul incest to abuse your soul, where now you're both a father and a son by your untimely claspings with your child, which pleasure fits a husband, not a father, and she an eater of her mother's flesh by the defiling of her parents' bed, and both like serpents are, who though they feed on sweetest flowers, yet they poison breed. Antioch, farewell, for wisdom sees those men blush not in actions blacker than the night, will shun no course to keep them from the light. One sin I know, another doth provoke, murders as near to lust as flame to smoke. Poison and treason are the hands of sin, aye, and the targets to put off the shame. Then lest my life be cropped to keep you clear, by flight I'll shun the danger which I fear.
He hath found the meaning for which we mean to have his head. He must not live to trumpet forth my infamy, nor tell the world Antiochus doth sin in such a loathed manner. And therefore instantly this prince must die, for by his fall my honour must keep high. Who attends us there?
Doth your highness call?
Thaliard, you are of our chamber, Thaliard, and our mind partakes our private actions to your secrecy. And for your faithfulness we will advance you, Thaliard. Behold, here's poison and here's gold. We hate the Prince of Tyre, and thou must kill him. It fits thee not to ask the reason why. Because we bid it, say, is it done?
My lord, 'tis done.
Enough.
My lord.
Let your breath cool yourself, telling your haste.
My lord, Prince Pericles is fled.
As thou wilt live, high after, and like an arrow shot from a well-experienced archer hits the mark his eye doth level at, so thou never return, unless thou say Prince Pericles is dead.
My lord, if I can get him within my pistol's length, I'll make him sure enough. So, farewell to your highness.
Thaliard, adieu. Till Pericles be dead, my heart can lend no succour to my head.
Let none disturb us.
Why should this change of thoughts, the sad companion, dull-eyed melancholy, be my so used a guest, as not an hour in the day's glorious walk, or peaceful night, the tomb where grief should sleep, can breed me quiet? Here pleasures caught mine eyes, and mine eyes shunned them, and danger which I feared is at Antioch, whose arm seems far too short to hit me here. Yet neither pleasure's art can joy my spirits, nor yet the other's distance comfort me. Then it is thus. The passions of the mind, that have their first conception by misdread, have after nourishment and life by care, and what was first but fear what might be done, grows elder now, and cares it be not done. And so with me the great Antiochus, 'gainst whom I am too little to contend, since he so great can make his will his act, will think me speaking, though I swear to silence. Nor boots it me to say I honour him, if he suspect I may dishonour him. And what may make him blush in being known, he'll stop the course by which it might be known. With hostile forces he'll o'erspread the land, and with the stint of war will look so huge, amazement shall drive courage from the state, our men be vanquished ere they do resist, and subjects punished that ne'er thought offence. Which care of them, not pity of myself, who am no more but as the tops of trees, which fence the roots they grow by and defend them, makes both my body pine and soul to languish, and punish that before that he would punish.
Joy and all comfort in your sacred breast.
And keep your mind peaceful and comfortable.
Now, peace, peace, and give experience time. They do abuse the king that flatter him. For flattery is the bellows, blows up sin. The thing the which is flattered but a spark, to which that blast gives heat and stronger glowing. Whereas reproof, obedient and in order, fits kings as they are men, for they may err. When Senior Sooth here does proclaim peace, he flatters you, makes war upon your life. Prince, pardon me, or strike me if you please. I cannot be much lower than my knees.
All leave us else. But let your cares all look what shipping and what lading's in our haven, and then return to us. Hellicanus, thou hast moved us. What seest thou in our looks?
An angry brow, dread lord.
If there be such a dart in princes' frowns, how durst thy tongue move anger to our face?
How dares the plants look up to heaven, from whence they have their nourishment?
Thou knowst I have power to take thy life from thee.
I have ground the axe myself. Do but you strike the blow.
Rise, prithee rise. Sit down. Thou art no flatterer. I thank thee for it, and have forbid that kings should let their ears hear their faults hid.
fit counselor and servant for a prince, who by thy wisdom makes a prince thy servant, what wouldst thou have me do?
To bear with patience such griefs as you yourself do lay upon yourself.
Thou speakest like a physician, Hellicanus, that ministers a potion unto me that thou wouldst tremble to receive thyself. Attend me then. I went to Antioch, where, as thou knowest, against the face of death I sought the purchase of a glorious beauty, from whence an issue I might propagate, our arms to princes, and bring joys to subjects. Her face was to mine eye beyond all wonder, the rest, hark in thine ear, as black as incest, which by my knowledge found the sinful father seemed not to strike, but smooth. But thou knowest this, 'tis time to fear when tyrants seem to kiss, which fear so grew in me I hither fled under the covering of a careful knight, who seemed my good protector, and being here, bethought what was past, what might succeed. I knew him tyrannous, and tyrants' fears decrease not, but grow faster than the years. When should he doubt, as no doubt he doth, that I should open to the listening air how many worthy princes' bloods were shed to keep his bed of blackness unlaid ope, to lock that doubt, he'll fill this land with arms, and make pretence of wrong that I have done him, when all for mine, if I may call offence, must feel war's blow, who spares not innocence, which love to all, of which thyself art one, who now reprovest me for it.
Alas, sir.
Drew sleep out of mine eyes, blood from my cheeks, musings into my mind, with thousand doubts how I might stop this tempest ere it came, and finding little comfort to relieve them, I thought it princely charity to grieve for them.
Well, my lord, since you have given me leave to speak, freely will I speak. Antiochus you fear, and justly too I think you fear the tyrant, who either by public war or private treason will take away your life. Therefore, my lord, go travel for a while, till that his rage and anger be forgot, or till the destinies do cut his thread of life. Your rule direct to any. If to me, day serves not light more faithful than I'll be.
I do not doubt thy faith. But should he wrong my liberties in my absence?
We'll mingle our bloods together in the earth from whence we had our being and our birth.
Tyre, I now look from thee then, and to Tarsus intend my travel, where I'll hear from thee, and by whose letters I'll dispose myself. The care I had and have of subjects good on thee I lay, whose wisdom's strength can bear it. I'll take thy word for faith, not ask thine oath. Who shuns not to break one will crack both. But in our orbs we'll live so round and safe, that time of both this truth shall ne'er convince. Thou show'dst a subject shine, I a true prince.
So this is Tyre, and this the court. Here must I kill King Pericles, and if I do it not, I am sure to be hanged at home. 'Tis dangerous. Well, I perceive he was a wise fellow, and had good discretion, that being bid to ask what he would of the king, desired he might know none of his secrets. Now do I see he had some reason for it. For if a king bid a man be a villain, he's bound by the indenture of his oath to be one. Hushed, here comes the lords of Tyre.
You shall not need, my fellow peers of Tyre, further to question me of your king's departure. His sealed commission left in trust with me does speak sufficiently. He's gone to travel.
How, the king gone?
If further yet you will be satisfied why, as it were, unlicensed of your loves, he would depart, I'll give some light unto you. Being at Antioch...
What from Antioch?
Royal Antiochus, on what cause I know not, took some displeasure at him, at least he judged so. And doubting lest he had erred or sinned, to show his sorrow he'd correct himself. So puts himself unto the shipman's toil, with whom each minute threatens life or death.
Well, I perceive I shall not be hanged now, although I would. But since he's gone, the king's ears it must please. He escaped the land to perish at the seas. I'll present myself. Peace to the lords of Tyre.
Lord Thaliard from Antiochus is welcome.
From him I come with message unto princely Pericles, but since my landing I have understood your lord has betaken himself to unknown travels. Now message must return from whence it came.
We have no reason to desire it, commended to our master, not to us. Yet ere you shall depart, this we desire, as friends to Antioch we may feast in Tyre.
My Dioniza, shall we rest us here, and by relating tales of others' griefs, see if 'twill teach us to forget our own?
That were to blow at fire and hope to quench it. For who digs hills because they do aspire, throws down one mountain to cast up a higher? Oh, my distressed lord, even such our griefs are. Here they are but felt and seen with mischief's eyes, but like to groves being topped, they higher rise.
O Dionysa, who wanteth food and will not say he wants it, or can conceal his hunger till he famish? Our tongues and sorrows do sound deep, our woes into the air, our eyes to weep, till tongues fetch breath that may proclaim them louder, that if heavens slumber while their creatures want, they may awake their helps to comfort them. I'll then discourse our woes, felt several years, and wanting breath to speak, help me with tears.
I'll do my best, sir.
This Tarsus, o'er which I have the government, a city on whom plenty held full hand, for riches strewed herself even in her streets, whose towers bore heads so high they kissed the clouds, and strangers ne'er beheld, but wondered at, whose men and dames so jetted and adorned, like one another's glass to trim them by. Their tables were stored full to glad the sight, and not so much to feed on as delight. All poverty was scorned, and pride so great, the name of help grew odious to repeat.
Oh, 'tis too true.
But see, what heaven can do by this our change. These mouths, who but of late earth, sea, and air were all too little to content and please, although they gave their creatures in abundance, as houses are defiled for want of use. They are now starved for want of exercise. Those palates, who not yet 2 summers younger must have inventions to delight the taste, would now be glad of bread and bake for it. Those mothers who to nuzzle up their babes thought naught too curious are ready now to eat those little darlings whom they loved. So sharp are hunger's teeth, that man and wife draw lots who first shall die to lengthen life. Here stands a lord and there a lady weeping. Here many sink, yet those which see them fall have scarce strength left to give them burial. Is not this true?
Our cheeks and hollow eyes do witness it.
Oh, let those cities that of plenty's cup and her prosperities so largely taste, with their superfluous riots hear these tears. The misery of Tarsus may be theirs.
Where's the Lord Governor?
Here, speak out thy sorrows which thee bringst in haste, for comfort is too far for us to expect.
We have descried upon our neighbouring shore a portly sail of ships make hitherward.
I thought as much. One sorrow never comes, but brings an heir that may succeed as his inheritor. And so in ours, some neighbouring nation, taking advantage of our misery, hath stuffed the hollow vessels with their power to beat us down, the which are down already, and make a conquest of unhappy men, whereas no glory is got to overcome.
That's the least fear, for by the semblance of their white flags displayed, they bring us peace, and come to us as favourers, not as foes.
Oh, thou speak'st like hymns untutored to repeat. Who makes the fairest show means most deceit. But bring they what they will, what need we fear? Our ground's the lowest, and we are halfway there. Go, tell their general we attend him here to know for what he comes, and whence he comes, and what he craves.
I go, my lord.
Welcome is peace, if he on peace consist. If wars, we are unable to resist.
Lord Governor, for so we hear you are. Let not our ships and numbers of our men be like a beacon fired to amaze your eyes. We have heard your miseries as far as Tyre, and seen the desolation of your streets. Nor come we to add sorrow to your tears, but to relieve them of their heavy load. And these our ships, you happily may think, are like the Trojan horse, was stuffed within with bloody veins, expecting overthrow, are stored with corn,
to make your needy bread, and give them life, whom hunger starved half dead.
The gods of Greece protect you.
And we'll pray for you.
Arise. I pray you rise. We do not look for reverence, but for love, and harborage for ourself, our ships, and men.
The which, when any shall not gratify, or pay you with unthankfulness in thought, be it our wives, our children, or ourselves, the curse of heaven and men succeed their evils, till when the which I hope shall ne'er be seen. Your grace is welcome to our town and us.
Which welcome we'll accept. Feast here a while, until our stars that frown lend us a smile.
Here have you seen a mighty king, his child he wished to incest bring. A better prince and benign lord, that will prove awful both in deed and word. Be quiet then, as men should be, till he hath passed necessity. I'll show you those in trouble's reign, losing a mite, a mountain gain. The good in conversation, to whom I give my benison, is still at Tarsus, where each man thinks all is writ he spoken can. And to remember what he does, build his statue to make him glorious. But tidings to the contrary are brought your eyes. What need speak I? Good Hellicanus that stayed at home, not to eat honey like a drone from others' labors, for doth he strive to kill and bad, keep good alive. He, to fulfill his prince desire, sends word of all that haps in Tyre. How Tyre came, full bent with sin, and had intent to murder him, and that in Tarsus was not best longer for him to make his rest. He doing so, put forth to seize, where when men been there's seldom ease. For now the wind begins to blow, thunder above and deeps below, makes such unquiet that the ship, should house him safe, is wracked and split. And he, good prince, having all lost, by waves from coast to coast is tossed. All perishing of man a pelf, he aught escapen but himself. Till fortune, tired with doing bad, threw him ashore to give him glad. And here he comes. What shall be next? Pardon, old Gower, this belongs the text.
Yet cease your ire, you angry stars of heaven. Wind, rain, and thunder, remember, earthly man is but a substance that must yield to you, and I, as fits my nature, to obey you. Alas, the sea hath cast me on the rocks, washed me from shore to shore, and left my breath nothing to think on but ensuing death. Let it suffice the greatness of your powers to have bereft a prince of all his fortunes, and having thrown him from your watery grave, here to have death in peace is all he'll crave.
What ho, Belch? Huh? Come and bring away the net. Ah, patch breach, I say.
What say you, master?
Look at those stairs now. Oh, come away, or I'll fetch thee with a wanion.
Faith, master, I'm thinking of the poor men that were cast away before us even now.
Alas, poor souls. It grieved my heart to hear what pitiful cries they made to us to help them. When well a day we could scarce help ourselves.
Nay, master, said not I as much when I saw the poor pass, how he bounced and tumbled. They say they're half fish, half flesh. Ah, plague on them, they ne'er come but I look to be washed. Master, I marvel how the fishes live in the sea.
Why, there's men to a land. The great ones eat up the little ones. I can compare our rich misers to nothing so fitly as to a whale. A plays and tumbles, driving the poor fry before him, and at last devour him all at mouthful. Such whales have I heard on the land, who never leave gaping till they swallow the whole parish, church, steeple, bells and all.
A pretty moral. But master, if I'd been the sexton, I would have been that day in the belfry.
Why, man?
Because he should have swallowed me too. And when I'd been in his belly, I'd have kept such a jangling of the bells that he should never have left till he cast bells, steeple, church, and parish up again. But if the good King Simonides were of my mind,
Simonides?
we would purge the land of these drones that rob the bee of her honey.
How from the finny subject of the sea, these fishers tell the infirmity of men, and from their watery empire recollect all that may men approve or men detect.
Peace be at your labour, honest fisherman.
Honest, good fellow? What's that? If it be a day fits you, scratch it out the calendar. Nobody look after it.
They see the sea hath cast upon your coast.
Oh, what a drunken knave was the sea, to cast thee in our way.
A man whom both the waters and the wind, in that vast tennis court, have made the ball for them to play upon, entreats you pity him. He asks of you that never used to beg.
No, friend, cannot you beg? Is them in our country of Greece gets more with begging than we can do with working.
Canst thou catch any fishes, then?
I never practised it.
Oh, nay, then thou wilt starve, sure. For here's nothing to be got nowadays unless thou canst fish for it.
What I have been, I have forgot to know. And what I am, want teaches me to think on. A man throbbed up with cold. My veins are chill, and have no more of life but may suffice to give my tongue that heat to ask your help, which if you shall refuse it, when I am dead, for that I am a man, pray you see me buried.
Die, quotha? No, gods forbid it. And I ever go near. Come, put it on. Keep thee warm. Oh, no for me as handsome fella. Come, thou shalt go home, and we'll have flesh for holy days, fish for fasting days, and moreover puddings and flapjacks, and thou shalt be welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Hark you, my friend, you said you could not beg.
I did but crave.
But crave, then I'll turn craver too, so shall I escape whipping.
Will your beggars whip then?
Oh, not all, my friend, not all. But if all your beggars were whipped, I should wish no better office than to be beadle.
Oh.
Master, I'll go and draw up the net.
How well this honest mirth becomes their labour.
Back you, sir. Do you know where ye are? Well, I'll tell you. This is called Pentapolis, and our king, the good Simonides.
The good Simonides, do you call him?
Aye, sir, and he deserves so to be called, for his peaceable reign and good government.
He is a happy king since he gains from his subjects the name of good by his government. How far is his court distant from the shore?
Oh, Mary, sir, half a day's journey. And I'll tell you, he hath a fair daughter, and tomorrow is her birthday. There are princes and knights come from all parts of the world to joust and tourney for her love.
Were my fortunes equal to my desires, I could wish to make one there.
Oh, sir, things must be as they may. And what a man cannot get, he may lawfully deal for his wife's soul.
Help, master, help! Here's a fish hangs in the net like a poor man's right in the law. 'Twill hardly come out. What's on? Tis come at last. And 'tis turned into a rusty armour.
An armour, friends. I pray you let me see it. Thanks fortune yet, that after all these crosses thou givest me somewhat to repair myself. And though it was mine own, part of my heritage, which my dead father did bequeath to me, with this strict charge, even as he left his life, keep it, my Pericles. It hath been a shield twixt me and death, and pointed to this brace. For that it saved me, keep it. In like necessity, the which the gods protect thee from, may it defend thee. It kept where I kept, I so dearly loved it, till the rough seas that spares not any man took it in rage, and calmed have given it again. I thank thee for it. My shipwreck now's no ill, since I have here my father gave in his will.
What mean you, sir?
To beg of you, kind friends, this coat of worth, for it was sometime target to a king. I know it by this mark. He loved me dearly, and for his sake I wish the having of it. And that you guide me to your sovereign's court, where with it I may appear a gentleman. And if that ever my low fortune's better, I'll pay your bounties. Till then, rest your debtor.
Why, wilt thou tourney for the lady?
I'll show the virtue I have borne in arms.
Why do you take it, and the gods give thee good aunt?
Aye, but hark ye, my friend, 'twas we that made up this garment through the rough seams of the waters. There are certain condolements, certain veils. I hope, sir, if you thrive, you'll remember from whence you had them.
Believe it, I will. By your furtherance, I am clothed in steel, and spite of all the rupture of the sea, this jewel holds his building on my arm. And to thy value, I will mount myself upon a courser whose delightful steps shall make the gazer joy to see him tread. Only, my friends, I am yet unprovided of a pair of bases.
We'll sure provide. Thou shalt have my best gown to make thee a pair, and I'll bring thee to the court myself.
Then honour be but a goal to my will. This day I'll rise, or else add ill to ill.
Are the knights ready to begin the triumph?
They are, my liege, and stay your coming to present themselves.
Return them, we are ready. And our daughter here, in honour of whose birth these triumphs are, sits here like beauty's child, whom nature gat for men to see, and seeing wonder at.
It pleaseth you, my royal father, to express my commendations great, whose merits less.
'Tis fit it should be so. For princes are a model which heaven makes like to itself. As jewels lose their glory if neglected, so princes their renowns if not respected. 'Tis now your honour, daughter, to entertain the labour of each knight in his device.
Which, to preserve mine honour, I'll perform.
Who is the first that doth prefer himself?
A knight of Sparta, my renowned father, and the device he bears upon his shield is a black Ethiop reaching at the sun. The word lux tua vita mihi.
He loves you well that holds his life of you. Who is the second that presents himself?
A prince of Macedon, my royal father, and the device he bears upon his shield is an armed knight that's conquered by a lady. The motto thus in Spanish, più por dulcera que por fuerza.
And with the third?
The third of Antioch, and his device a wreath of chivalry, the word me Pompeii provexit apex.
What is the fourth?
A burning torch that's turned upside down, the word qui me alit me extinguit.
Which shows that beauty hath his power and will, which can as well inflame as it can kill.
The fifth, an hand environed with clouds, holding out gold that's by the touchstone tried. The motto thus, sic spectanda fides.
And what's the sixth and last? The which the knight himself with such a graceful courtesy delivered?
He seems to be a stranger, but his present is a withered branch that's only green at top. The motto, in hac spe vivo.
A pretty moral. From the dejected state wherein he is, he hopes by you his fortunes yet may flourish.
He had need mean better than his outward show can any way speak in his just commend. For by his rusty outside, he appears to have practised more the whipstock than the lance.
He well may be a stranger, for he comes to an honoured triumph strangely furnished.
And on set purpose let his armour rust until this day to scar it in the dust.
Opinion's but a fool that makes us scan the outward habit by the inward man. But stay, the knights are coming, and we will withdraw into the gallery. Knights, to say your welcome were superfluous. To place upon the volume of your deeds as in a title page your worth in arms were more than you expect or more than's fit, since every worth in show commends itself. Prepare for mirth becomes a feast. You are princes and my guests.
But you, my knight and guest, to whom this wreath of victory I give, and crown you king of this day's happiness.
'Tis more by fortune, lady, than my merit.
Call it by what you will, the day is yours. And here, I hope, is none that envies it.
In framing an artist, art hath thus decreed to make some good, but others to exceed. And you are her laboured scholar. Come, queen of the feast, for daughter so you are. Here, take your place, marshal the rest as they deserve their grace.
We are honoured much by good Simonides.
Your presence glads our days. Honour we love, for who hates honour hates the gods above.
Sir, yonder is your place.
Some other is more fit.
Content not, sir, for we our gentlemen have neither in our hearts nor outward eyes envy the great, nor shall the low despise.
You are right courteous knights.
Sit, sir, sit. By Jove, I wonder that is king of thoughts. These cates resist me. He but thought upon.
By Juno, that is queen of marriage. All viands that I eat do seem unsavoury, wishing him I need. Sure, he's a gallant gentleman.
He's but a country gentleman, has done no more than other knights have done, has broken a staff or so, so let it pass.
To me he seems like diamond to glass.
Yon king's to me like to my father's picture, which tells me in that glory once he was. Had princes sit like stars about his throne, and he the sun for them to reverence. None that beheld him but like lesser lights did veil their crowns to his supremacy. Where now his sun's like a glowworm in the night, the which hath fire in darkness, none in light. Whereby I see that time's the king of men. He's both their parent and he is their grave, and gives them what he will, not what they crave.
What, you merry knights?
Who can be other in this royal presence?
Here with a cup that's stirred unto the brim, as do you, love, filled your mistress' lips, we drink this health to you.
We thank your grace.
Yet, pause a while. Yon knight doth sit too melancholy, as if the entertainment in our court had not a show might countervail his worth. Note it not, you, Thais?
What is to me, my father?
Oh, attend, my daughter. Princes in this should live like gods above, who freely give to everyone that comes to honour them. And princes not doing so are like to gnats, which make a sound, but killed are wondered at. Therefore, to make his entrance more sweet, here, say we drink this standing bowl of wine to him.
Alas, my father, it befits not me unto a stranger knight to be so bold. He may my proffer take for an offence, since men take women's gifts for impudence.
Do as I bid you, or you'll move me else.
Now, by the gods, he could not please me better.
And furthermore, tell him we desire to know of him, of whence he is, his name and parentage.
The king, my father, sir, has drunk to you,
I thank him.
wishing it so much blood unto your life.
I thank both him and you, and pledge him freely.
And further, he desires to know of you, of whence you are, your name and parentage.
A gentleman of Tyre, my name Pericles, my education been in arts and arms, who looking for adventures in the world, was by the rough seas reft of ships and men, and after shipwreck driven upon this shore.
He thanks your grace, names himself Pericles, a gentleman of Tyre, who only by misfortune of the seas, bereft of ships and men, cast on this shore.
Now, by the gods, I pity his misfortune, and will awake him from his melancholy. Come, gentlemen, we sit too long on trifles, and waste the time which looks for other revels. Even in your armours, as you are addressed, will well become a soldier's dance. I will not have excuse with saying this loud music is too harsh for ladies' heads, since they love men in arms as well as beds. This was well asked, 'twas so well performed. Come, sir, here's a lady that wants breathing too, and I have heard you knights of Tyre are excellent at making ladies trip, and their measures are as excellent.
In those that practice them they are, my lord.
Oh, that's as much as you will be denied of your fair courtesy. Unclasp, unclasp. gentlemen, to all. All have done well, but you the best. Pages and lights to conduct these knights unto their several lodgings. Yours, sir, we have given order be next our own.
I am at your grace's pleasure.
Princes, it is too late to talk of love, and that's the mark I know you level at, and therefore each one but take him to his rest tomorrow, all for speeding to their best.
Know, Escandes, know this of me. Antiochus from incest lived not free, for which the most high gods, not minding longer to withhold the vengeance that they had in store, due to this heinous capital offence, even in the height and pride of all his glory, when he was seated in a chariot of an inestimable value, and his daughter with him, a fire from heaven came and shriveled up those bodies, even to loathing. For they so stunk that all those eyes adored them ere their fall, scorn now their hand should give them burial.
'Twas very strange.
And yet but justice, for though this king were great, his greatness was no guard to bar heaven shafts, but sin had his reward.
'Tis very true.
See, not a man in private conference or council has respect with him but he.
It shall no longer grieve without reproof.
And cursed be he that will not second it. Follow me then. Lord Hellican, a word.
With me, and welcome. Happy day, my lords.
Know that our griefs are risen to the top, and now at length they overflow their banks.
Your griefs for what? Wrong not your prince you love.
Wrong not yourself then, noble Hellican. But if the prince do live, let us salute him, or know what grounds made happy by his breath. If in the world he live, we'll seek him out. If in his grave he rest, we'll find him there. And be resolved he lives to govern us, or dead gives cause to mourn his funeral, and leave us to our free election.
Whose death's indeed the strongest in our censure. And knowing this, kingdoms without a head, like goodly buildings left without a roof, soon fall to ruin. Your noble self, that best know how to rule and how to reign, we thus submit unto our sovereign.
Aye. Live, noble Hellican.
For honour's cause, forbear your suffrages. If that you love Prince Pericles, forbear. Take I your wish, I leap into the seas, where's hourly trouble for a minute's ease. A 12-month longer let me entreat you to forbear the absence of your king. If in which time expired he not return, I shall with aged patience bear your yoke. But if I cannot win you to this love, go, search like nobles, like noble subjects, and in your search spend your adventurous worth, whom if you find and win unto return, you shall like diamonds sit about his crown.
To wisdom he's a fool that will not yield, and since Lord Hellican enjoineth us, we with our travels will endeavour.
Then you love us, we you, and we'll clasp hands. When peers thus knit, a kingdom ever stands.
Morrow to the good Simonides.
Knights, from my daughter, this I let you know, that for this 12 months she'll not undertake a married life. Her reason to herself is only known, which from her by no means can I get.
May we not get access to her, my lord?
Faith, by no means. She has so strictly tied her to a chamber that 'tis impossible. 1 12 moons more she'll wear Diana's livery. This by the eye of Cynthia hath she vowed, and on her virgin honour will not break it.
Loath to bid farewell, we take our leave.
So they are well dispatched. Now to my daughter's letter. She tells me here she'll wed the stranger knight, or never more to view nor day nor night. 'Tis well, mistress, your choice agrees with mine. I like that well. Nay, how absolute she is in it, not minding whether I dislike or no. Well, I do commend her choice, and will no longer have it be delayed. Soft, here he comes, I must dissemble it.
All fortune to the good Simonides.
To you as much. Sir, I am beholding to you for your sweet music this last night. I do protest my ears were never better fed with such delightful, pleasing harmony.
It is your grace's pleasure to commend, not my desert.
Sir, you are music's master.
The worst of all her scholars, my good lord.
Let me ask you one thing. What do you think of my daughter, sir?
A most virtuous princess.
And she is fair, too, is she not?
As a fair day in summer.
wondrous fair.
Sir, my daughter thinks very well of you. Aye, so well that you must be her master, and she will be your scholar. Therefore look to it.
I am unworthy for her schoolmaster.
She thinks not so. Peruse this writing else.
What's here? A letter that she loves the knight of Tyre. 'Tis the king's subtlety to have my life.
Oh, seek not to entrap me, gracious lord. A stranger and distressed gentleman that never aimed so high to love your daughter, but bent all offices to honour her.
Thou hast bewitched my daughter, and thou art a villain.
By the gods, I have not. Never did thought of mine levy offence, nor never did mine actions yet commence a deed might gain her love or your displeasure.
Traitor, thou liest.
Traitor?
Aye, traitor.
Even in his throat, unless it be the king that calls me traitor, I return the lie.
Now, by the gods, I do applaud his courage.
My actions are as noble as my thoughts, that never relished of a base descent. I came unto your court for honour's cause, and not to be a rebel to her state. And he that otherwise accounts of me, this sword shall prove he's honour's enemy.
No, here comes my daughter, she can witness it.
Then as you are as virtuous as fair, resolve your angry father, if my tongue did e'er solicit, or my hand subscribe to any syllable that made love to you.
Why, sir, say if you had, who takes offence at that would make me glad.
Hey, mistress, are you so peremptory? Glad on it with all my heart. I'll tame you, I'll bring you in subjection. Will you, not having my consent, bestow your love and your affections upon a stranger, who, for aught I know, may be, nor can I think the contrary, as great in blood as I myself? Therefore, hear you, mistress. Either frame your will to mine, and you, sir, hear you, either be ruled by me, or I'll make you man and wife. They calm your hands. And lips for sealed too, and being joined, I'll thus your hopes destroy, and for further grief, God give you joy. What, are you both pleased?
Yes, if you love me, sir.
Even as my life, my blood that fosters it.
What, are you both agreed?
Yes, if it please your majesty.
It pleaseth me so well that I will see you wed, and then with what haste you can, get you to bed.
Now sleep beslacked hath the rout, no din but snores about the house, made louder by the o'erfed breast of this most pompous marriage feast. The cat, with eyne a burning coal, now couches from the mouse's hole, and crickets sing at the oven's mouth, all the blither for their drought. Hymen hath brought the bride to bed, where by the loss of maidenhead a babe is moulded. Be attent, and time that is so briefly spent with your fine fancies quaintly eke. What's dumb in show, I'll plain with speech. By many a dearn and painful perch, of Pericles that careful search, by the four opposing coins which the world together joins, is made with all due diligence, that horse and sail and high expense can stead the quest. At last, from Tyre, fame, answering the most strange inquire, to the court of King Simonides are letters brought, the tenor these: Antiochus and his daughter dead. The men of Tyre on the head of Hellicanus would set on the crown of Tyre, but he will none. The mutiny he hastes to oppress, says to them, if King Pericles come not home in twice 6 moons, he, obedient to their dooms, will take the crown. The sum of this, brought hither to Pentapolis, it ravisheth the regions round, and every one with claps can sound, our heir apparent is a king. Who dreamt, who thought of such a thing? Brief, he must hence depart to Tyre. His queen with child makes her desire, which who shall cross along to go. Omit we all their dole and woe, Lycorida her nurse she takes, and so to sea. Their vessel shakes on Neptune's billow. Half the flood hath their keel cut, but fortune moved, there is again. The grizzled north disgorges such a tempest forth, That is a duck for life that dives, so up and down the poor ship drives. The lady shrieks, and well anear does fall in travail with her fear. And what ensues in this fell storm shall for itself perform. I nil relate, action may conveniently the rest convey, which might not what by me is told in your imagination hold. This stage, the ship, upon whose deck the seas tossed Pericles appears to speak.
Thou God of this great vast, rebuke these surges which wash both heaven and hell. And thou that hast upon the winds command, bind them in brass, having called them from the deep. O still thy deafening dreadful thunders, gently quench thy nimble sulphurous flashes. O how, the corridor, how does my queen? Thou stormest venomously, wilt thou spit all thyself? The seaman's whistle is as a whisper in the ears of death unheard. The corridor. Lucina, O divinest patroness and midwife gentle to those that cry by night, convey thy deity aboard our dancing boat. Make swift the pangs of my queen's travails. Now, the corridor.
Here is a thing too young for such a place, who if it had conceit would die, as I am like to do. Take in your arms this piece of your dead queen.
How, the corridor?
Patience, good sir, do not assist the storm. Here's all that is left living of your queen, a little daughter. For the sake of it, be manly and take comfort.
Oh, you gods, why do you make us love your goodly gifts and snatch them straight away? We here below recall not what we give, and therein may vie honor with you.
Patience, good sir, even for this charge.
Now mild may be thy life, for a more blustrous birth had never babe. Quiet and gentle thy conditions, for thou the rudeliest welcome to this world that ever was prince's child. Happy what follows. Thou hast as chiding a nativity as fire, air, water, earth, and heaven can make to herald thee from the womb. Even at the first, thy loss is more than can thy portage quit with all thou canst find here. Now the good gods throw their best eyes upon't.
What courage, sir? God save you!
Courage enough. I do not fear the floor. It hath done to me the worst. Yet for the love of this poor infant, this fresh new seafarer, I would it would be quiet.
Slake the bowlings there! Thou wilt not, wilt thou? Blow and split thyself!
Let sea room and the brine and cloudy billow kiss the moon, I care not.
Sir, your queen must overboard. The sea works high, the wind is loud, and will not lie till the ship be cleared of the dead.
That's your superstition.
Pardon us, sir. With us at sea, it has been still observed. We are strong in custom, therefore briefly yield her.
As you think meet, for she must overboard straight. Most wretched queen.
Here she lies, sir.
A terrible childbed hast thou had, my dear. No light, no fire. The unfriendly elements forgot thee utterly. Nor have I time to give thee hallowed to thy grave, but straight must cast thee scarcely coffined in the ooze. Wherefore a monument upon thy bones, the eye-remaining lamps, the belching whale and humming water must overwhelm thy corpse. Life with simple shams. O the corridor. Bid Nestor bring me spices, ink, and paper, my casket and my jewels, and bid Nicander bring me the satin coffer. Lay the babe upon the pillow. Hie thee, whilst I say a priestly farewell to her. Suddenly, woman.
Sir, we have a chest beneath the hatches, corked and bitumed ready.
I thank thee. Mariner, say what coast is this?
We're near Tarsus.
Thither, gentle mariner. Alter thy course for Tyre. When canst thou reach it?
By break of day, if the wind cease.
Or make for Tarsus. There will I visit Cleon, for the babe cannot hold out to Tyrus. There I'll leave it, at careful nursing. Go thy ways, good mariner. I'll bring the body presently.
Fisherman, Howe.
Doth my lord call?
Get fire and meat for these poor men. 'Tis been a turbulent and stormy night.
I've been in many, but such a night as this till now ne'er endured.
Your master will be dead ere you return. There's nothing can be ministered to nature that can recover him. Give this to the apothecary and tell me how it works.
Yes, my lord. Good morrow.
Good morrow to your lordship.
Gentlemen, why do you stir so early?
Sir, our lodging standing bleak upon the sea shook as the earth did quake. The very principles did seem to rend and all to topple. Pure surprise and fear made me to quit the house.
That is the cause we trouble you so early. 'Tis not our husbandry.
Oh, you say well.
But I much marvel that your lordship, having rich Tyre about you, should at these early hours shake off the golden slumber of repose. 'Tis most strange. Nature should be so conversant with pain, being thereto not compelled.
I held it ever virtue and cunning were endowments greater than nobleness and riches. Careless heirs may the two latter darken and expend, but immortality attends the former, making a man a god. 'Tis known I ever have studied physic, through which secret art, by turning o'er authorities, I have together with my practice made familiar to me and to my aid the blessed infusions that dwells in vegetatives, in metals, stones, and I can speak of the disturbances that nature works, and of her cures, which doth give me a more content in course of true delight than to be thirsty after tottering honour, or tie my pleasure up in silken bags to please the fool and death.
Your honour has through Ephesus poured forth your charity, and hundreds call themselves your creatures who by you have been restored. And not your knowledge or personal pain, but even your purse, still open, hath built Lord Cerimon such strong renown as time shall never...
So lift there. What's that?
Sir, even now did the sea toss up upon our shore this chest. 'Tis of some wreck.
Set it down, let's look upon it.
'Tis like a coffin, sir.
Whatever it be, 'tis wondrous heavy. I'll wrench it open straight. If the sea's stomach be o'ercharged with gold, 'tis a good constraint of fortune it belches upon us.
'Tis so, my lord.
How close 'tis corked and bitumed. Did the sea cast it up?
I never saw so huge a billow, sir, as tossed it upon shore.
Wrench it open. So. It smells most sweetly in my sense.
Delicate odour.
As ever hit my nostril. So, up with it. Oh, you most potent gods. What's here? A corpse?
Oh, strange.
Shrouded in cloth of state, balmed and entreasured with full bags of spices? A passport, too? Apollo perfect me in the characters. Here I give to understand, if e'er this coffin drives a land, I, King Pericles, have lost this queen, worth all our mundane cost. Who finds her, give her burying. She was the daughter of a king. Besides this treasure, for a fee, the gods requite his charity. If thou livest, Pericles, thou hast a heart that ever cracks for woe. This chance tonight?
Most likely, sir.
Yea, certainly tonight, for look, how fresh she looks. They were too rough that threw her in the sea. Make a fire within. Fetch hither all my boxes in my closet. Death may usurp on nature many hours, and yet the fire of life kindle again the o'er-pressed spirits. I heard of an Egyptian that had 9 hours lain dead, who was by good appliance recovered. Well said, well said. Fire and cloths. The still and woeful music that we have, cause it to sound, beseech you. The viol, once more. How thou stirrest, thou block the music there. I pray you give her air. Gentlemen, this queen will live. Nature wakes, her warm breathes out of her. She hath not been entranced above 5 hours. See how she begins to blow into life's flower again.
The heavens through you increase our wonder, and set up your fame forever.
She's alive. Behold her eyelids. Cases to those heavenly jewels which Pericles hath lost begin to part their fringes of bright gold. Oh, the diamonds of her most praise it water doth appear to make the world twice rich. Live,
and make us weep to hear your fate, fair creature, rare as you seem to be.
Oh, dear Diana, where am I? Where's my lord? What world is this?
Is not this strange? Most rare. My gentle neighbours, lend me your hands. To the next chamber bear her. Get linen. Now this matter must be looked to, for her relapse is mortal. Come, come, and Aesculapius guide us.
Most honoured Cleon, I must needs be gone. My 12 months are expired, and Tyre stands in a litigious peace. You and your lady take from my heart all thankfulness. The gods make up the rest upon you.
Your shakes of fortune, though they haunt you mortally, yet glance full wonderingly on us.
Oh, your sweet queen. That the strict fates had pleased you had brought her hither to have blessed mine eyes with her.
We cannot but obey the powers above us. Could I rage and roar, as doth the sea she lies in, yet the end must be as 'tis. My gentle babe, Marina, whom for she was born at sea, I have named so, here I charge your charity withal, leaving her the infant of your care, beseeching you to give her princely training, that she may be mannered as she is born.
Fear not, my lord, but think your grace that fed my country with your corn, for which the people's prayers still fall upon you, must in your child be thought on. If neglection should therein make me vile, the common body by you relieved would force me to my duty. But if to that my nature need a spur, the gods revenge it upon me and mine to the end of generation.
I believe you. Your honour and your goodness teach me to it without your vows. Till she be married, madam, by bright Diana whom we honour all, unscissored shall this hair of mine remain, though I show ill in it. So I take my leave. Good madam, make me blessed in your care in bringing up my child.
I have one myself, who shall not be more dear to my respect than yours, my lord.
Madam, my thanks and prayers.
We'll bring your grace e'en to the edge of the shore, then give you up to the masked Neptune and the gentlest winds of heaven.
I will embrace your offer. Come, dearest madam. Oh, no tears, Lycorida. No tears. Look to your little mistress, on whose grace you may depend hereafter. Come, my lord.
Madam, this letter and some certain jewels lay with you in your coffer, which are at your command. Know you the character?
It is my lord's. That I was shipped at sea, I well remember, even on my evening time, but whether there delivered by the holy gods I cannot rightly say. But since King Pericles, my wedded lord, I ne'er shall see again, a vestal livery will I take me to, and never more have joy.
Madam, if this you purpose as ye speak, Diana's temple is not distant far, where you may abide till your date expire. Moreover, if you please, a niece of mine shall there attend you.
My recompense is thanks, that's all. Yet my goodwill is great, though the gift small.
Imagine Pericles arrived at Tyre, welcomed and settled to his own desire. His woeful queen we leave at Ephesus, and to Diana there, a votaress. Now to Marina bend your mind, whom our fast-growing scene must find at Tarsus, and by Cleon trained in music's letters, who hath gained of education all the grace, which makes her both the heart and place of general wonder. But alack, that monster envy, oft the rack of earned praise, Marina's life seeks to take off by treason's might. And in this kind our Cleon hath one daughter, and a full-grown wench, even right for marriage sight. This maid hight Philoten. And it is said for certain in our story, she would ever with Marina be it when they weave the sledded silk with fingers long, small, white as milk, or when she would with sharp needle wound the cambric which she made more sound by hurting it, or when to the lute she sung and made the night bird mute that still records with moan, or when she would with rich and constant pen fail to her mistress Dion. Still this Philoten contends in skill with absolute Marina. So the dove of Paphos might with the crow vie feathers white. Marina gets all praises, which are paid as debts and not as given. This so darks in Philoten all graceful marks, that Cleon's wife with envy rare a present murderer does prepare for good Marina, that her daughter might stand peerless by this slaughter. The sooner her vile thoughts to stead, thy corridor our nurse is dead, and cursed Dioniza hath a pregnant instrument of wrath pressed for this blow. The unborn event I do commend to your content, only I carry winged time post on the lame feet of my rhyme. Never could I so convey, unless your thoughts went on my way. Dioniza doth appear, with Leonine a murderer.
By oath remember, thou hast sworn to do't. 'Tis but a blow which never shall be known. Thou canst not do a thing in the world so soon to yield thee so much profit. Let not conscience, which is but cold, or flaming love, thy bosom enslave too nicely. Nor let pity, which even women have cast off, melt thee, but be a soldier to thy purpose.
I will do it, but yet she is a goodly creature.
The fitter then the god should have her. Here she comes, weeping for her old nurse's death. Thou art resolved?
I am resolved.
No. I will rob Tellus of her weed to strew thy green with flowers. The yellows, blues, the purple violets, and marigolds shall as a carpet hang upon thy grave, while summer days doth last. Ay me, poor maid, born in a tempest when my mother died. This world to me is as a lasting storm, whirring me from my friends.
Oh, now, Marina, why do you keep alone? How chance my daughter is not with you? Do not consume your blood with sorrowing. Have you a nurse of me? Lord, how your favours changed with this unprofitable woe. Come, give me your flowers ere the scene might. Walk with Leonine, the air is quick there, and it pierces and sharpens the stomach. Come, Leonine, take her by the arm, walk with her.
No, I pray you, I'll not bereave you of your servant.
Come, come, I love the king, your father, and yourself with more than foreign heart. We every day expect him here. When he shall come and find our paragon to all reports thus blasted, he will repent the breadth of his great voyage, blame both my lord and me, that we have taken no care to your best courses. Go, I pray you, walk and be cheerful once again. Reserve that excellent complexion, which did steal the eyes of young and old. Care not for me, I can go home alone.
Well, I will go, but yet I have no desire to it.
Come, come, I know it is good for you. Walk half an hour, Leonine, at the least. Remember what I've said.
I warrant you, madam.
I'll leave you, my sweet lady, for a while. Pray walk softly. Do not heat your blood. What, I must have care of you.
My thanks, sweet madam. Is this wind westerly that blows?
Southwest.
When I was born, the wind was north.
What's so?
My father, as nurse says, did never fear, but cried good seaman to the sailors, galling his kingly hands hailing ropes, and clasping to the mast, endured a sea that almost burst the deck.
When was this?
When I was born. Never was waves nor wind more violent. And from the ladder tackle washes off a canvas climber, ha, says one, wilt out, and with a dropping industry they skip from stem to stern. The boatswain whistles, and the master calls, and trebles their confusion.
Come, say your prayers.
What mean you?
If you require little space for prayer, I grant it. Pray, but be not tedious, for the gods are quick of ear, and I am sworn to do my work with haste.
Why will you kill me?
To satisfy my lady.
Why would she have me killed? Now, as I can remember by my troth, I never did her hurt in all my life. I never spake bad word, nor did ill turn to any living creature. Believe me, lo, I never killed a mouse, nor hurt a fly. I trod upon a worm against my will, but I wept for it. How have I offended? Whether my death might yield her any profit, or my life imply her any danger.
My commission is not to reason of the deed, but to do it.
You will not do it for all the world, I hope. You are well favoured, and your looks will show you have a gentle heart. I saw you lately when you caught hurt in parting two that fought. Good sooth, it showed well in you. Do so now. Your lady seeks my life. Come you between and save poor me, the weaker.
I am sworn and will dispatch.
Oh,
surprise!
Surprise! Apart. Come, let's have her aboard suddenly.
These roguing thieves serve the great pirate Vuldes. Have seized Marina. Let her go. There's no hope she will return. I'll swear she's dead and thrown into the sea. But I'll see further. Perhaps they will but please themselves upon her, not carry her aboard. If she remain, whom they have ravished must by me be slain.
Boult, sir. Search the market narrowly. Metteline is full of gallants. We lost too much money this mart by being too wenchless.
We were never so much out of creatures. We have but poor 3, and they can do no more than they can do. They with continual action are even as good as rotten.
Therefore, let us have fresh ones, whatever we pay for them. If there be not a conscience to be used in every trade, we shall never prosper.
Thou say'st true. It's not our bringing up of poor bastards, as I think. I've brought up some 11.
I too 11, and brought them down again. But shall I search the market?
What else, man? The stuff we have, a strong wind will blow it to pieces. They're so pitifully sodden.
Thou sayest true. There's too unwholesome a conscience. The poor Transylvanian is dead that lay with a little baggage.
Aye, she quickly pooped him, and she made him roast meat for worms. But I'll go search the market.
3,000 or 4,000 check-ins were as prettier proportion to live quietly and so give over.
Why to give over, I pray you? Is it a shame to get when we're old?
Oh, our credit comes not in like the commodity, nor the commodity wages not with the danger. Therefore, if in our youth we could pick up some pretty estate, 'twere not amiss to keep our doors hatched. Besides, the sore terms we stand upon with the gods will be strong with us for giving all.
Come, others sought offend as well as we.
As well as we, aye, and better too. We offend worse. Neither is our profession any trade. It's no calling. But here comes Boult.
Come your ways, my masters. You say she's a virgin?
Oh, sir, we doubt it not.
Master, I have gone through for this piece, you see, if you like her so. If not, I've lost my earnest.
Boult, has she any qualities?
She has a good face, speaks well, and has excellent good clothes. There's no farther necessity of qualities can make her be refused.
What's her price, Boult?
It cannot be bated, 1 doit of 1,000 pieces.
Well, follow me, my masters. You shall have your money presently. Wife, take her in. Instruct her what she has to do, that she may not be raw in her entertainment.
Boult, take you the marks of her, the colour of her hair, complexion, her height, age, with warrant of her virginity, and cry, he that will give most shall have her first. Such a maidenhead were no cheap thing, if men were as they have been. Get this done as I command you.
Performance shall follow.
Alack, but Leonine was so slack, so slow. He should have struck, not spoke. Or that these pirates, not enough barbarous, had not all board thrown me for to seek my mother.
Why lament you, pretty one?
But I am pretty.
Come, the gods have done their part in you.
I accuse them not.
You light into my hands where you like to live.
The more my fault escape his hands where I was to die.
Aye, and you shall live in pleasure.
No.
Yes, indeed, shall you, and taste gentlemen of all fashions. You shall fare well. You shall have the difference of all complexions. Would you stop your ears?
Are you a woman?
What would you have me be, and I be not a woman?
An honest woman or not a woman?
Mary, whip the gosling. I think I shall have something to do with you. Come, you're a young, foolish sapling, and must be bowed as I would have you.
The gods defend me.
If it please the gods to defend you by men, then men must comfort you, men must feed you, men must stir you up.
Mistress!
Boult's returned. Now, sir, hast thou cried her through the market?
I have cried her almost the number of her hairs. I have drawn her picture with my voice.
And I prithee tell me, how dost thou find the inclination of the people, especially the younger sort?
Faith, they listened to me as they would have hearkened to their father's testament. There was a Spaniard's mouth watered, and he went to bed to a very description.
We shall have him here tomorrow with his best ruff on.
Tonight. But, mistress, you know the French knight that cowers in the hams?
Who, Monsieur Verolles?
He offered to cut the caper at the proclamation, but he made a groan at it and swore he would see it tomorrow.
Well, as for him, he brought his disease hither, here he does but repair it. I know he'll come in our shadow to scatter his crowns in the sun.
Well, if we had of every nation a traveller, we should lodge them with this sign.
Pray you come hither a while. You have fortunes coming upon you. Mark me, you must seem to do that fearfully which you commit willingly. Despise profit where you have most gain. To weep that you live as you do makes pity in your lovers. Seldom but that pity begets you a good opinion, and that opinion a mere profit.
I understand you now.
Oh, take her own, mistress, take her own. These blushes of hers must be quenched with some present practice.
Thou say'st true, i' faith, so they must, for your bride goes to that with shame, which is her way to go with warrant.
Faith, some do and some do not. But, mistress, if I have bargained for the joint...
Thou mayst cut a morsel off the spit.
I may so.
Who should deny it? Come, young one. I like the manner of your garments well.
By my faith, they shall not be changed yet.
Boult, spend thou that in the town. Report what a sojourner we have. You'll lose nothing by custom. When nature framed this piece, she meant thee a good turn. Therefore, say what a paragon she is, and thou hast the harvest of thine own report.
I warrant you, mistress, thunder shall not so await the beds of eels as my giving out of her beauty stirs up the lewdly inclined. I'll bring some tonight.
Come your ways. Follow me.
Fires be hot, knives sharp or waters deep. Untied I still my virgin knot will keep. Diana, aid my purpose.
What have we to do with Diana? Pray you, will you go with us?
Why are you foolish? Can it be undone?
Oh, Dioniza, such a piece of slaughter the sun and moon ne'er looked upon.
I think you'll turn a child again.
Were I chief lord of all this spacious world, I'd give it to undo the deed. O lady, much less in blood than virtue, yet a princess to equal any single crown of the earth in the justice of compare. O villain, Leonine, whom thou hast poisoned too, if thou hadst drunk to him to be the kindness becoming well thy fact. What canst thou say when noble Pericles shall demand his child?
That she is dead. Nurses are not the fates. She died at night, I'll say so. Who can cross it? Unless you play the pious innocent and for an honest attribute cry out she died by foul play.
Oh, go to, well, of all the faults beneath the heavens, the gods do like this worst.
Be one of those that thinks the petty wrens of Tarsus will fly hence and open this to Pericles. I do shame to think of what a noble strain you are, and of how coward a spirit.
To such proceeding, whoever but his approbation added, though not his prime consent, he did not flow from honourable courses.
Be it so, then. Yet none does know but you how she came dead, nor none can know, Leonine being gone. She did disdain my child, and stood between her and her fortunes. None would look on her, but cast their gazes on Marina's face, while ours was blurted at and held a mocking not worth the time of day. It pierced me thorough, and though you call my course unnatural, you not your child well-loving, Yet I find it greets me as an enterprise of kindness performed to your sole daughter.
Heavens forgive it!
And as for Pericles, what should he say? We wept after her hearse, and yet we mourn. Her monument is almost finished, and her epitaphs in glittering golden characters express a general praise to her and care in us at whose expense 'tis done.
Thou art like the harpy, which to betray dost with thine angel's face, seize with thine eagle's talons.
Yeah, like one that superstitiously do swear to the gods the winter kills the flies. But yet I know you'll do as I advise.
Thus time we waste, and long leagues make short. Sail seas in cockles, have and wish but for, making to take our imagination from bourne to bourne, region to region. By you being pardoned, we commit no crime to use one language in each several clime where our seas seem to live. I do beseech you to learn of me who stand in the gaps, to teach you the stages of our story. Pericles is now again thwarting the wayward seas, attended on by many a lord and knight, to see his daughter, all his life's delight. Old Hellicanus goes along. Behind is left to govern it, you bear in mind, old Escandes, whom Hellicanus late advanced in time to great and high estate. Well-sailing ships and bounteous winds have brought the king to Tarsus. Think his pilot thought so with her steerage, shall your thoughts go on, to fetch his daughter home, who first is gone. Like motes and shadows, see them move a while, your ears unto your eyes I'll reconcile. See how belief may suffer by foul show. This borrowed passion stands for true old woe. And Pericles in sorrow all devoured, with sighs shot through and biggest tears o'ershowered, leaves Tarsus and again embarks. He swears never to wash his face nor cut his hairs. He puts on sackcloth, and to sea he bears a tempest which his mortal vessel tears. And yet he rides it out. Now please you wit. This epitaph is for Marina writ by wicked Dioniza. The fairest, sweetest, and best lies here, who withered in her spring of year. She was of Tyre the king's daughter, on whom foul death hath made this slaughter. Marina was she called, and at her birth, Thetis being proud, swallowed some part of the earth. Therefore the earth, fearing to be o'erflowed, hath Thetis' birth child on the heavens bestowed. Wherefore she does, and swears she'll never stint, make raging battery upon shores of flint. No visor does become black villainy so well as soft and tender flattery. Let Pericles believe his daughter's dead, and bear his courses to be ordered by Lady Fortune, while our scene must play his daughter's woe and heavy well-a-day in her unholy service. Patience then, and think you now are all in Metallin.
Did you ever hear the like?
No, nor never shall do in such a place as this, she being once gone.
But to have divinity preached there, did you ever dream of such a thing?
No, no. Come, I'm for no more bawdy houses. Shall's go hear the Vestals sing?
I'll do anything now that is virtuous, but I'm out of the road of rutting forever.
Well, I had rather than twice the worth of her that she'd ne'er come here.
Fie upon her. She's able to freeze the god Priapus and undo a whole generation. We must either get her ravished or be rid of her. When she should do for clients her fitment and do me the kindness of our profession, she has me her quirks, her reasons, her master reasons, her prayers, her needs, that she would make a Puritan of the devil if he should cheapen a kiss of her.
Faith, I must ravish her, or she'll disfurnish us of all our cavaliers and make our swearers priests.
Oh, the pox upon that green sickness for me.
Faith, there's no way to be rid on't but by the way to the pox. Here comes the Lord Lysimachus disguised.
We should have both Lord and Lorne if the peevish baggage would but give way to customers.
How now? How, a dozen of virginities?
Now the gods to bless your honour.
I'm glad to see your honour in good health.
Oh, you may. So 'tis the better for you that your resorters stand upon sound legs. How now? Wholesome iniquity have you, that a man may deal with all and defy the surgeon?
We have one here, sir, if she would, but there never came her like in Metalline.
If she'd do the deeds of darkness, thou wouldst say.
Your honour knows what 'tis to say, well enough.
Well, call forth, call forth.
For flesh and blood, sir, white or red, you shall see a rose, and she were a rose indeed if she had but...
What, prithee?
Oh, sir, I can be modest.
That dignity's the renown of a board, no less than it gives a good report to a number to be chased.
Here comes that which grows to the stalk, never plucked yet, I can assure you. Is she not a fair creature?
Faith, she would serve after a long voyage at sea. Well, there's for you. Leave us.
I beseech your honour, give me leave a word, and I'll have done presently.
I beseech you do.
First, I would have you know that this is an honourable man.
I desire to find him so that I may worthily note him.
Next, he's the governor of this country, and a man whom I'm bound to.
If he govern the country, you are bound to him indeed. But how honourable he is in that, I know not.
I pray you, without any more virginal fencing, will you use him kindly? He'll line your apron with gold.
What he will do graciously, I will thankfully receive.
How you done?
My lord, she's not paced yet. You must take some pains to work her to your manage. Come, we will leave his honour and her together. Go thy ways.
Now, pretty one, how long have you been at this trade?
What trade, sir?
I cannot name, but I shall offend.
I cannot be offended with my trade. Please you to name it.
How long have you been of this profession?
Since I can remember.
Oh, did you go to it so young? Were you a gamester at 5 or at 7?
Earlier too, sir, if now I be one.
Why, the house you dwell in proclaims you to be a creature of sale.
Do you know this house to be a place of such resort, and will come into it? I hear say you're of honourable parts and are the governor of this place.
Why, hath your principal made known unto you who I am?
Who is my principal?
Why, you're her woman, she that sets seeds and roots of shame and iniquity. Oh, you have heard something of my power, and so stand aloof from our serious wooing. But I protest to thee, pretty one, my authority shall not see thee, or else look friendly upon thee. Come, bring me to some private place. Come, come.
If you were born to honour, show it now. If put upon you, make the judgment good that thought you worthy of it.
How's this? Some more beats age.
For me that am a maid, though most ungentle fortune have placed me in this sty, where since I came, diseases have been so dearer than physic. Oh, that the gods would set me free from this unhallowed place, though they did change me to the meanest bird that flies with a purer air.
I did not think thou couldst have spoke so well, nor dreamed thou couldst. Had I brought hither a corrupted mind, thy speech had altered it. Oh, hold, here's gold for thee. Persever in that clear way thou goest, and the gods strengthen thee.
The good gods preserve you.
For me, be you thoughten that I came with no ill intent, for to me the very doors and windows savour vilely. Fare thee well. Thou art a piece of virtue, and I doubt not but thy training hath been noble. Hold, here's more gold for thee. A curse upon him, die he like a thief that robs thee of thy goodness. If thou dost hear from me, it shall be for thy good.
I beseech your honour, one piece for me.
Avaunt, thou damned doorkeeper! Your house, but for this virgin that doth pop it, would sink and overwhelm you. Away!
How's this? We must take another course with you. If your peevish chastity, which is not worth a breakfast in the cheapest country under the cope, shall undo a whole household, let me be gilded like a spaniel. Come your ways.
Whither would you have me?
I must have your maidenhead taken off, or the common hangman shall execute it. Come your way. We'll have no more gentlemen driven away. Come your ways, I say.
Now, what's the matter?
Worse and worse, mistress. She has here spoken holy words to the Lord Lysimachus.
Oh, abominable.
He makes our profession, as it were, to stink before the face of the gods.
Mary, hang her up forever.
The nobleman would have dealt with her like a noble man, and she sent him away as cold as a snowball.
saying his prayers too.
Boult, take her away, use her at thy pleasure. Crack the glass of her virginity and make the rest malleable.
And if she were a thornier piece of ground than she is, she shall be ploughed.
Oh, hark you, gods.
She conjures away with her. Would she'd never come within my doors? Marry, hang you. She's born to undo us. Will you not go the way of womankind? Marry, come up my dish of chastity with rosemary and bay.
Come, mistress, come your way with me.
Whither wilt thou have me?
To take from you the jewel you hold so dear.
Prithee, tell me one thing first.
Come now, your one thing.
What canst thou wish thine enemy to be?
Why, I could wish him to be my master, or rather my mistress.
Neither of these are so bad as thou art, since they do better thee in their command. Thou hold'st a place for which the pain'st fiend of hell would not in reputation change. Thou art the damned doorkeeper to every coistrel that comes inquiring for his tib. To the choleric fisting of every rogue thy ear is liable. Thy food is such that hath been belched on by infected lungs.
Well, what would you have me do? Go to the wars, would you? Where a man may serve 7 years for the loss of a leg, and have not money enough in the end to buy him a wooden one.
Do anything but this thou doest. Empty old receptacles or common shores of filth, serve by indenture to the common hangman. Any of these ways are yet better than this. For what thou professest, a baboon, could he speak, would own a name too dear, or that the gods would safely deliver me from this place. Here's gold for thee. If that thy master would gain by me, proclaim that I can sing, weave, sew, and dance, with other virtues which I'll keep from boast, and will undertake all these to teach. I doubt not but this populous city will yield many scholars.
But can you teach all this you speak of?
Prove that I can, or take me home again, and prostitute me to the basest groom that doth frequent your house.
Well, I will see what I can do for thee. If I can place thee, I will.
But among honest women.
Oh, faith, my acquaintance lies little amongst them. But since my master and mistress have brought you, that there's no going but by their consent. Therefore, I will make them acquainted with your purpose, and I doubt not, but I shall find them tractable enough. Come, I'll do for thee what I can. Come your ways.
Marina thus the brothel escapes and chances into an honest house, our story says. She sings like one immortal, and she dances as goddess-like to her admired lays. Deep clerks she duns, and with her meal composes nature's own shape of bud, bird, branch, or berry, that even her art sisters the natural roses, her inkles silk twine with the rubied cherry, that pupils lack she none of noble race, who pour their bounty on her, and her gain she gives the cursed board. Here we her place, and to her father turn our thoughts again. We left him on the sea, we there him left, where driven before the winds he is arrived, here, where his daughter dwells, and on this coast suppose him now at anchor. The city is hived, god Neptune's annual feast to keep, from whence Lysimachus, our Tyrian ship, espies, his banner sable trimmed with rich expense, and to him in his barge with further hies. In your supposing once more put your sight, of heavy Pericles think this his bark, where what is done in action, more if might, shall be discovered. Please you, sit and hark.
Where is Lord Hellicanus? He can resolve you. Oh, here he is. Sir, there is a barge put off from Mellor, and in it is Lysimachus the governor, who craves to come aboard. What is your will?
That he have his. Call up some gentlemen.
Oh, gentlemen, my lord calls.
Doth your lordship call?
Gentlemen, there is some of worth would come aboard. I pray greet him fairly.
Sir, this is the man that can in aught you would resolve you.
Hail, reverend sir. The gods preserve you.
And you, sir, to outlive the age I am and die as I would do.
You wish me well. Being on shore, honouring of Neptune's triumphs, seeing this goodly vessel ride before us, I made to it to know of whence you are.
First, what is your place?
I am the governor of this place you lie before.
Sir, our vessel is of Tyre, in it the king. A man who for this 3 months hath not spoken to anyone, nor taken sustenance but to prorogue his grief.
On what ground is his distemperature?
It would be too tedious to repeat, but the main grief springs from the loss of a beloved daughter and a wife.
May we not see him?
You may, but bootless is your sight. He will not speak to any.
Yet let me obtain my wish.
Beholding, this was a goodly person, till the disaster that one mortal night drove him to this.
Sir King, all hail. The gods preserve you. Hail, royal sir.
It is in vain. He will not speak to you.
Sir, we have a maid in Metteline I durst wager would win some words of him.
'Tis well bethought. She, questionless with her sweet harmony and other chosen attractions, would allure and make a battery through his deafened ports, which now are midway stopped. She is all happy as the fairest of all, and with her fellow maid is now upon the leafy shelter that abuts against the island's side.
Sure, all effectless, yet nothing will omit that bears recovery's name. But since your kindness we have stretched thus far, let us beseech you that for our gold we may provision have, wherein we are not destitute for want, but weary for the staleness.
Oh, sir, courtesy, which if we should deny, the most just God for every graff would send a caterpillar, and so inflict our province. Yet, once more, let me entreat to know at large the cause of your king's sorrow.
Sit, sir. I will recount it to you. But see, I am prevented.
Oh, here's the lady that I sent for. Welcome, fair one. Is not a goodly present?
She's a gallant lady.
She's such a one that were I well assured came of a gentle kind and noble stock, I wish no better choice, and think me rarely wed. Fair one, all goodness that consists in bounty, expect even here, where is a kingly patient. If that thy prosperous and artificial feet can draw him but to answer thee in aught, thy sacred physic shall receive such pay as thy desires can wish.
Sir, I will use my utmost skill in his recovery, provided that none but I and my companion maid be suffered to come near him.
Come, let us leave her, and the gods make her prosperous. Marked he your music?
No, nor looked on us.
See, she will speak to him.
Hail, sir. My lord, lend ear. I am a maid, my lord, that ne'er before invited eyes, but have been gazed on like a comet. She speaks, my lord, that maybe hath endured a grief might equal yours, if both were justly weighed. Though wayward fortune did malign my state, my derivation was from ancestors who stood equivalent to mighty kings. But time hath rooted out my parentage, and to the world and awkward casualties bound me in servitude. I will desist. But there is something glows upon my cheek and whispers in mine ear, go not till he speak.
My fortunes, parentage, good parentage to equal mine. Was it not thus? What say you?
I said, my lord, if you did know my parentage, you would not do me violence.
I do think so. Pray you, turn your eyes upon me. You are like something that... What countrywoman? Here, of these shores?
No, nor of any shores. Yet I was mortally brought forth, and am no other than I appear.
I am great with woe, and shall deliver weeping. my dearest wife was like this maid, and such a one my daughter might have been. My queen's square brows, her stature to an inch, as wand-like straight, as silver-voiced, her eyes as jewel-like, and cased as richly. In pace, another Juno, who starves the ears she feeds and makes them hungry the more she gives them speech. Where do you live?
Where I am but a stranger. From the deck you may discern the place.
Where were you bred? And how achieved you these endowments which you make more rich to owe?
If I should tell my history, it would seem like lies disdained in the report.
Really speak. Falseness cannot come from thee, for thou look'st modest as justice, and thou seemst a palace for the crown truth to dwell in. I will believe thee, and make my senses credit thy relation to points that seem impossible. For thou look'st like one I loved, indeed. What were thy friends? Didst thou not say, when I did push thee back, which was when I perceived thee, thou camest from good descending?
So indeed I did.
Report thy parentage. I think thou saidst that thou hadst been tossed from wrong to injury, and that thou thoughtst thy griefs might equal mine, if both were opened.
Some such thing I said, and said no more. But what my thoughts did warrant me was likely.
Tell thy story. If thine considered prove 1,000th part of my endurance, thou art a man, and I have suffered like a girl. Yet thou dost look like patience, gazing on kings' graves, and smiling extremity out of act. What were thy friends? How lost thou thy name? My most kind virgin, recount, I do beseech thee. Come, sit by me.
My name is Marina.
Oh, I am mocked. And thou by some insensate god sent hither to make the world laugh at me.
Patience, good sir, or here I'll cease.
Nay, I'll be patient. Thou little knowest how thou dost startle me to hear thee call thyself Marina.
The name was given me by one that had some power, my father, and a king.
How? A king's daughter, and called Marina?
You said you would believe me, but not to be a troubler of your peace, I will end here.
But have you flesh and blood? Have you a working pulse and art no fairy? Motion as well? Speak on. Where were you born? And wherefore called Marina?
Called Marina, for I was born at sea.
At sea? What mother?
My mother was the daughter of a king, who died the minute I was born, as my good nurse Lycorida hath oft delivered weeping.
Oh, stop there a little. This is the rarest dream that ere dull sleep did mock sad fools withal. This cannot be my daughter buried. Well, where were you bred? I'll hear you more to the bottom of your story and never interrupt you.
You scorn. Believe me, 'twere best I did give her.
I will believe you by the syllable of what you shall deliver. Yet give me leave. How came you in these parts? Where were you bred?
The king, my father, did in Tarsus leave me, till cruel Cleon with his wicked wife did seek to murder me, and having wooed a villain to attempt it, whom having drawn to do't, a crew of pirates came and rescued me, brought me to Mellor. But, good sir, whither will you have me? Why do you weep? It may be you think me an imposture, no good faith. I am the daughter to King Pericles, if good King Pericles be.
Oh, Hellicanus.
Calls, my lord.
Thou art a grave and noble counsellor, most wise in general. Tell me, if thou canst, what this maid is, or what is like to be, that thus hath made me weep.
I know not, but here's the regent, sir, of Mellor speaks nobly of her.
She never would tell her parentage being demanded, that she would sit still and weep.
Oh, Hellicanus, strike me, honoured sir. Give me a gash. Put me to present pain, lest this great sea of joys rushing upon me o'erbear the shores of my mortality and drown me with their sweetness.
Oh, come hither, thou that begettest him that did thee beget, thou that wast born at sea, buried at Tarsus, and found at sea again. O Hellicanus, down on thy knees, thank the holy gods as loud as thunder threatens us. This is Marina. What was thy mother's name? Tell me about that, for truth can never be confirmed enough. Thou doubt'st did ever sleep.
First, sir, I pray, what is your title?
I am Pericles of Tyre, but tell me now my drowned queen's name. As in the rest you said thou hadst been godlike perfect, the heir of kingdoms and another life to Pericles thy father.
Is it no more to be your daughter than to say, my mother's name was Thaisa? Thaisa was my mother who did end the minute I began.
Now blessing on thee rise, thou art my child. Give me fresh garments, mine own Hellicanus. She is not dead at Tarsus as she should have been by savage Cleon. She shall tell thee all when thou shalt kneel, and justify in knowledge she is thy very princess. Who is this?
Sir, 'tis the governor of Metteline, who hearing of your melancholy state did come to see you.
I embrace you. Give me my robes. I am wild in my beholding. Oh, heavens, bless my girl. But hark, what music? Tell Hellicanus, my Marina. Tell him all, point by point, for yet he seems to doubt how sure you are my daughter. But what music?
My lord, I hear none.
None. The music of the spheres. List, my Marina.
'Tis not good to cross him, give him way.
Rarest sounds. Do ye not hear?
Music, my lord.
I hear most heavenly music. It nips me into listening, and thick slumber hangs upon mine eyes. Let me rest.
A pillow for his head. So, leave him all. Well, my companion friends, if this but answers to my just belief, I'll well remember you.
My temple stands in Ephesus. Hie thee thither, and do upon mine altar sacrifice. There, when my maiden priests are met together, before the people all, reveal how thou at sea didst lose thy wife. To mourn thy crosses with thy daughters, call and give them repetition to the life. Perform my bidding, or thou liv'st in woe. Do it, and happy by my silver bow. Awake, and tell thy dream.
Celestial Diane, Goddess Argentine, I will obey thee. Hellicanus.
Sir.
My purpose was for Tarsus, there to strike the inhospitable Cleon. But I am for other service first. Toward Ephesus turn our blown sails. Eftsoons I'll tell thee why. Shall we refresh us, sir, upon your shore, and give you gold for such provision as our intents will need?
Sir, with all my heart. And when you come ashore, I have another suit.
You shall prevail, were it to woo my daughter, for it seems you have been noble toward her.
Sir, lend me your arm.
Come, my Marina.
Now our sands are almost run. More a little, and then done. This my last boon give me, for such kindness must relieve me, that you aptly will suppose what pageantry, what feats, what shows, what minstrelsy and pretty din the regent made in Metteline to greet the king. So he thrived that he is promised to be wife to fair Marina, but in no wise till he had done his sacrifice, as Diane bade. Whereto being bound, the interim pray you all confound. In feathered briefness sails are filled, and wishes fall out as they're willed. At Ephesus the temple see, our king and all his company, that he can hither come so soon, is by your fancies thankful doing.
Hail, Diane. To perform thy just command, I here confess myself the king of Tyre, who who frighted from my country did wed at Pentapolis the fair Dioniza. At sea in childbed died she, but brought forth a maid child called Marina, who, O goddess, wears yet thy silver livery. She at Tarsus was nursed with Cleon, who at 14 years he sought to murder, but her better stars brought her to Mellor, gainst whose shore riding her fortunes brought the maid aboard us, where by her own most clear remembrance she made known herself my daughter.
Voice and favour, you are, O royal Pericles.
What means the nun? She dies? Help, gentlemen.
Noble sir, if you have told Diana's altar true, this is your wife.
Reverend Appearer, no, I threw her overboard with these very arms.
Upon this coast, I warrant you.
'Tis most certain.
Look to the lady. Oh, she's but overjoyed. Early, one blustering morn, this lady was thrown upon this shore. I oped the coffin, found their rich jewels, recovered her, and placed her here in Diana's temple.
May we see them?
Great, sir, they shall be brought you to my house, whither I invite you. Look, Dioniza is recovered.
Let me look. If he be none of mine, my sanctity will to my sense bend no licentious ear, but curb it, spite of seeing. Oh, my lord, are you not Pericles? Like him you spake, like him you are. Did you not name a tempest, a birth, and death?
The voice of dead Dioniza.
That Dioniza am I, supposed dead and drowned.
Immortal Diana.
Now I know you better. When we with tears parted Pentapolis, the king my father gave you such a ring.
This, no more, you gods. Your present kindness makes my past misery sports. You shall do well that on the touching of her lips I may melt and no more be seen. Oh, come, be buried a second time within these arms.
My heart leaps to be gone into my mother's bosom.
Look who kneels here, flesh of thy flesh, Dioniza, thy burden at the sea, and called Marina, for she was yielded there.
Blessed and mine own.
Hail, madam, and my queen.
Know you not?
You have heard me say when I did fly from Tyre, I left behind an ancient substitute. Can you remember what I called the man? I have named him off.
'Twas Hellicanus, then.
Still confirmation. Embrace him, dear Dioniza. This is he. Now do I long to hear how you were found, how possibly preserved, and who to thank beside the gods for this great miracle.
Lord Cerimon, my lord, this man from whom the gods have shown their power that can from first to last resolve you.
Reverend sir, the gods can have no mortal officer more like a god than you. Will you deliver how this dead queen relives?
I will, my lord. Beseech you first, go with me to my house, where shall be shown you all was found with her, how she came placed here in the temple, no needful thing omitted.
Pure Diane, I bless thee for thy vision. I will offer night oblations to thee. Dioniza, this prince, the fair betrothed of your daughter, shall marry her at Pentapolis. And now this ornament makes me look dismal, will I clip to form. And what this 14 years no razor touched, to grace thy marriage day, I'll beautify.
Lord Cerimon hath letters of good credit. Sir, my father's dead.
Heavens make a star of him. Yet there, my queen, we'll celebrate their nuptials, and ourselves will in that kingdom spend our following days. Our son and daughter shall in Tyrus reign. Lord Cerimon, we do our longing stay to hear the rest untold. Sir, lead us the way.
In Antiochus and his daughter, you have heard of monstrous lust, the due and just reward. In Pericles, his queen and daughter seen, although assailed with fortune fierce and keen, virtue preserved from fell destruction's blast, led on by heaven and crowned with joy at last. In Hellicanus may you well descry a figure of truth, of faith, of loyalty. In reverend Cerimon there well appears the worth that learned charity aye wears. For wicked Cleon and his wife, when fame had spread his cursed deed, the honored name of Pericles to rage the city turn, that him and his they in their palace burn. The gods for murder seemed so content to punish, although not done, but meant. So, on your patience evermore attending, new joy wait on you, here our play has ended.